my business partner, Jason, was a home brewer, and he used to brew out of his garage. And when the garage door was open, everybody would sort of know that you could go there and hang out. So this was sort of his dream, to open a craft brewery and brew beer for a living. We're 2 blocks from M&T Bank Stadium, so we get huge Ravens game days. We have a lot of game day regulars. And then the Orioles, I am a baseball mom, so we welcome all those fans to the tap room. One of the bands who was playing here was picking a little too hard and broke a G-string on his guitar. So the banjo player came up to me and asked if we had an extra G-string, which we happen to have because we have a lot of instruments around. So we figured we'd have fun with that situation and name a beer after it. We band together with the other breweries that are close to us as the South Baltimore Brewery District, and we all promote each other as game day spots. We just had our 3rd annual hot dog race. That Mustard won. Pickett is Team Mustard, and we won. There's nothing better to hear than people feel like they're at home here. This is their 3rd space. Those are the compliments that we like the most.
Ride the lightning, run on empty in the ring of fire. Rolling like the Mississippi, oh mama tried. But I got bad down to my bones. Don't know where I'm gonna go, oh, sweet child. I'm running wild. Yeah, I'm running wild. Mama, I'm running wild. Yeah.
All right. Kate, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to have you on today. So I guess, first question here, can you just kind of take me through the Pickett story, share with the world, who you are, how Pickett came about, and, I think I read online that you started in a garage.
Yep.
And how'd you get to where you are today in this beautiful tap room?
Sure. So my business partner, Jason, was a home brewer, and he used to brew out of his garage. And when the garage door was open, everybody would sort of know that you could go there and hang out, especially during COVID. Everybody would hang out in the driveway and drink beer and hang out while Jason was brewing. So this was sort of his dream, to open a craft brewery and brew beer for a living. And I was in business operations for a very long time. And I started off doing some marketing work for him. And then he asked me to do his business plan and pro formas and all that kind of business side of things that's not as exciting as brewing beer. And then we found this location and we got started. He asked me to be his business partner, and that's how we got started.
Wow, very cool. Very cool. So, you had obviously all of Baltimore to choose from, and you chose Pigtown, which is right next to the stadium. You have M&T Bank Stadium right there. You have Camden Yards down the street. So can you talk me through the decision-making process in picking this location, and how has football season and baseball season impacted overall sales for you guys?
Yeah, so we knew someone who knew of this location, and the big thing that sold us was the big garage door, because it reminded us of Jason brewing out of the garage, and that's the feel we wanted to go for. So it had a big steel door, and we added the glass door. And people love it. They love when we open it up. We keep it open for game days almost all the time, unless it's very, very cold. We're 2 blocks from M&T Bank Stadium, so we get huge Ravens game days. We have a lot of game day regulars. And then the Orioles, we get game day crowds for that. We wish they were doing better this season, and it wasn't almost over.
I wish the Ravens were doing better too.
Yeah, that was a little depressing. But yeah, we love both sports teams. We're big sports fans. I am a baseball mom. I have 4 sons, all who have played baseball or are still playing baseball. So we welcome all those fans to the tap room.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah.
And you were saying before this, you have, I think you said, a lager that a lot of people drink on game days, and then I'm drinking the broken G-string.
Broken G-string, yeah.
So what's the story behind this one?
So this, as the story
it's very
goes,
good, by the way.
We host a lot of bluegrass bands here, and one of the bands who was playing here was picking a little too hard and broke a G-string on his guitar. So the banjo player came up to me and asked if we had an extra G-string, which we happen to have because we have a lot of instruments around. So we figured we'd have fun with that situation and name a beer after it.
Well, I could see that's like one of those marketing things where just the name itself stands out and people feel like they have to order it.
Yeah, we have a lot of names on a name list that don't make it to press, but that one went through.
If this one made it, I can't imagine the ones that didn't make it.
Yeah.
So, going back to the location and just where you guys are in the city in relation to the stadiums, right next to M&T Bank, right next to Camden Yards. Have you done anything from a marketing standpoint to position yourselves as sort of the go-to spot before a big football game or a big baseball game, or does it just kind of naturally happen?
Some of it has naturally happened. Some people have found us just as they're walking between the tailgate lots. A lot of our game day regulars found us that way. And then we have targeted various things. In the beginning, our first year, we had a podcaster come out who brought a former Raven with him that allowed us to get some of that audience. But recently, we have our game day regulars, and then more and more fans come. Like I was telling you before we started, we had a lot of Detroit fans here this week. So a lot of the folks from other cities look up craft breweries or where they can get a beer close to the stadium, and they find us that way. The other thing we've done is we band together with the other breweries that are close to us as the South Baltimore Brewery District, and we all promote each other as game day spots.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's one of the things I love about the craft beer industry in general is just how friendly everybody is in the space. I don't think you find many other industries where quote unquote competitors are so willing to help each other. Yep. And, it really is like if one brewery does not succeed, then the others probably are not succeeding as well. It's kind of like an industry trend driven space where it's about alcohol consumption in general, and you don't want to see any breweries hurting. Right. Everybody's so willing to help.
Yeah, we're really lucky that way. The Brewery District, we really help promote each other, and we do joint events together that we market. We just had our 3rd annual hot dog race. That Mustard won. Pickett is Team Mustard, and we won.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So it's super exciting. It grows every year. And we have other annual events that we've done, and they really help people understand the proximity of the breweries and circulate between them.
Mm-hmm. Do you see this neighborhood continuing to expand and more breweries coming to the space? Like, how do you feel about the future of, this spot in Baltimore?
I think it's very promising. One of the big things that we're doing is promoting drinking local, especially with the stadium proximity. Maryland beer is not well represented in the stadium, so we like people to know that they're supporting the local economy and local families and the local workforce by drinking local and drinking beer that's made here.
Yeah, I think that's important. Whenever you go to a craft brewery, it's just so much better than the typical
it is.
Bud Lights.
It's true.
It's just you can't even compare them. Yep. I wish more people would open their eyes to it.
Yeah. So we have different ways that we're doing that. We work with the community. Pigtown Festival is this weekend where all the breweries in the district will be highlighted, and it's a great community festival. In this neighborhood. And then we also have a new mural project that's going to start up along Ostend Street, which connects Washington Boulevard, which is Pigtown Main Street, to the Stadium District and the forthcoming Walk at Warner, which is where Topgolf and the casino are.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
Have you guys noticed a increase in traffic since Topgolf opened up and that side of things has started to develop a little bit?
Not so much, maybe a little bit. A lot of people drive in, drive out to Topgolf and the casino. They have picked up construction on the new music venue that's going to go there. But what the breweries would like to see is people coming away from those spots and also coming to the local businesses.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys have owned and operated this tap room for a few years now. Was it 2022 that this opened?
Yes.
Okay, so 2022. So you've been in business in this tap room for a few years now. Looking back at your journey so far, what would you tell other brewery owners about the do's and don'ts of making a successful tap room?
Oh, good question. I don't know. Everybody does it so differently. Even the breweries that we're close to, everybody has their own model. We're all different size tap rooms and different size brew houses. But I think the key to building a community tap room is having events that people like to come to, in addition to brewing great beer.
Mm-hmm. And you have to have a brewery cat, of
And you
course.
have to have a brewery cat. He is the star of the show.
This is Tuna, everybody.
Yeah.
So events are very important, having those regular events. Do you guys do weekly programming that you try to put on, like weekly trivia or weekly karaoke or anything like that?
We have, no, we sort of stray from the normal activities like that. We do have a weekly pub running group. It's not weekly, it's first and third Fridays. First and third Thursdays, we have a bluegrass jams that comes in. That's a very popular group that comes in. Lots of folks come and just sort of informally pick. And we have a game night that comes in one Thursday a week. And then we have a Sunday music series called Bluegrass Sundays. That's very, very popular.
Okay, very cool. I can see the bluegrass doing really well. That's because I think one of my takeaways from being in the space, the past couple of years, has been you can't just do things that every other brewery is doing. You have to, like, the bluegrass thing is unique, and if you're just doing, hey Tuna,
there he is. I told you he'd do it.
we're gonna get some purring into the microphone.
Yeah. Are you okay with him?
Oh, absolutely.
Just sitting on you like
that?
that?
I was about to say this is officially my all-time favorite podcast.
You're his person now.
He's like purring right
He's
into my ear.
so rude.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Man, this is okay. Yeah, this is my favorite episode we've ever done now.
I'm glad you're okay with cats.
So, going back to the event side, one of the things I've noticed is that you have to have events that not every other brewery is doing. So, if you're just doing the weekly trivia, it's really hard to get a crowd in for that because, the 12 other breweries in town are also doing a trivia that night, along with all the restaurants who are doing trivia. So it's like, why would anybody come to your specific one? But if you're doing something like a bluegrass event, there's probably only one of those happening that night. We had another brewery that we worked with that did metal night, which was cool.
Oh, nice.
And so just like those kind of unique events that people can't find anywhere else, I think is key to actually drawing a crowd and not having your event just get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I agree. We try to do those, and we try to do bigger events on the weekends that have good themes to them. One of the things we joke about is that we've built a spot that Jason and I love to hang out at.
Yeah.
It's things that we like, that we're invested in, and I think that comes across to the people who come here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up too, because, and this is a conversation I haven't had on the podcast before, but I want to kind of dive into it. There almost is an element of like personal branding with breweries.
Do you want me to move him?
No, I'm like thrilled with this. Yeah, in a way, like oftentimes I feel with breweries that your tap room is kind of a representation of you as the founder or co-founder.
Yeah.
And, I think if you build your tap room in a way that's authentic to you, then you tend to attract the type of clientele that are also interested in those types of things, and it makes them that much closer to it just kind of like yields itself to a very hospitable environment.
Yeah.
And the brewery space is so dependent on building a community around the brand, and I think that's one of those intangible things that allows you to do that as a brewery owner. And I think Tuna would agree.
Yeah, and I think that authenticity is something that we talk about a lot. We brew beer that we like to drink. We have events that we like to attend. So I think that comes across to people. They tell us that a lot. There's nothing better to hear than people feel like they're at home here. This is their third space. Those are the compliments that we like the most.
Yeah. I wish more brewery owners would think about their space that way as the third place, because that term has kind of been coined for coffee shops.
Yeah.
But, I think there's a lot of people who, they just enjoy going out and drinking some good craft beer, and they don't want to do it at home, and they need a cool space to hang out. And you guys have done a really good job of, setting up the couches, and this is just a very welcoming, cozy atmosphere to be in.
Yeah, I think that does come across. And I think people appreciate the different identities of the different breweries. We have a strong cohort of people who stroll between all of them and visit them all for different reasons on different days. I think that's important too.
Yeah, 100%. I want to dive into expansion plans for Pickett. You guys have opened up this tap room, and this is obviously doing very well. What's next for Pickett? Are you making a big distribution play? Do you ever see yourself opening up additional tap rooms? Where do you see this headed?
Yeah, so we just recently signed with a distributor. So we're upping production and moving into distro.
Nice, very cool. So where will you be distributed? Is it throughout the state of Maryland?
Throughout the state of Maryland, yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're starting off slow. We did self-distro for a while, and it became just not feasible. It's me and Jason and another very part-time brewer, and then our taproom staff. So Jason and I were sort of handling everything, and that's tough to do with families and running the business. So we signed with a distributor, and they're trying to get the beer into the hands of people who come here but can't get it at local stores. That's how they're starting, and then we'll grow out from there.
Okay, very cool. I actually, so context for the podcast listeners, before this podcast, just by happen chance, I was playing golf the other week, and I happened to just get paired up with Jason. And so he was telling me a little bit about that.
Oh, nice.
During our round of golf. And he was mentioning that you guys will be distributed kind of around where I am. I'm about 20 minutes north of here, up in Towson, Timonium area.
Okay, yeah.
And you guys will be in a couple stores up there, which is
we're
exciting.
in a couple there now. We're at Ridgely, Kenilworth, Fairgrounds. So we're
Nice.
getting around there.
I'll have to pick up some more broken G-string.
That one is not in cans, so that's only
bummer.
available here. Yeah.
Okay, well, you got to talk to your distributor. You got to get it. Got to get a can.
Yeah, we just don't can that one. We can our flagship 33 1/3, and our West Coast are in cans. We don't can everything that we brew though.
Okay, got it. Well, I'll keep an eye out for you guys in the liquor stores, and I'll have to pick it up.
Cool.
What about end goal for Pickett? Do so now you're distributed throughout Maryland. Do you see this continuing to expand into a regional brand? Do you want to go national at some point? What's like the big vision for Pickett?
Yeah, I don't foresee us going national. We have sort of a different plan in place for how we want to grow, and it's much more measured and targeted.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just kind of one stage at a time.
Yep.
And then, got it. What do you do for marketing for Pickett? And I guess there's kind of two sides to that. There's the distribution marketing, and then there's the taproom marketing, which I found are two totally different animals. But I'm curious, what have you tried in the past, and what has worked and what hasn't worked?
Yeah, so we always use our 4 core values to guide us, and the first one is the beer. So we're always highlighting the beer in all different ways, making sure our team knows how to talk about the beer to customers, making sure the beer is foremost on our social media accounts. That's the biggest thing. That's the driver. And yes, we pair it with events. We have beer releases timed with events, but the core of our business is brewing great beer. So that's the first one. I mentioned our team. They are what makes the tap room the tap room. People love them. They all have their specific regulars. They take part in all of our events. We're super lucky. For the hot dog race, they were all in yellow. They're all in, and they do a great job. So that's our second core value. Our third core value is building community, which we've done in different ways with sports fans, with music fans. And we continue to build that, and we embrace the community here that we moved into. They're super supportive of us, which is really nice. And then our fourth core value is giving back. The two main ways we give back are to veterans and women's charities. Jason was in the Coast Guard. I'm a woman. So in November, we do a big veterans event and beer. And in March, every year, we do a big women's event and beer. And those are our two biggest charitable giving events. But we also do Pints with a Purpose, which is a smaller way of organizations to bring their groups in. And then we donate back $1 of each pint to them.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So all of those things factor into our marketing, but whenever we do interviews or anytime we market, we focus it on one of those core things.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's such an interesting way to, such an interesting lens to view your marketing through, and that is something that I think you guys do very well, where a lot of breweries out there will just they just make beer, and they're like, every brewery story is like, 3 guys got together and they started brewing in their basement, and then we said we should open up a brewery. And there's not really core values behind it. It's just they like making beer. But I think if you really want to resonate with an audience, and you want people to have a sort of emotional connection to your brand, I love what you're doing by marketing through the lens of your core values, and every message kind of has one of those core values, showing through.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's I worked in nonprofit operations, so I think it's driven by that. That's my background, and it helps us organize our planning. It helps us organize everything we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think too, you've picked two good avenues in relation to the veterans, and then the women. It's those are two. Obviously, they're important to you and Jason, of course, because you both have personal experience.
Yeah, and they're always really fun events. We have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I want to dive into some other questions here. What is something about opening a brewery that just completely surprised you that you did not see coming?
I always say that I'm shocked at how many costumes I need to own a brewery. We have such crazy events here that our back room has so many costumes in it. And like I said, our team's always on board for it. We had a Down the Rabbit Hole event in April, so we were all dressed up as Alice in Wonderland characters. Mustard, we have more yellow clothing than I care to admit.
Are you always Team Mustard every year?
Yes.
Okay, well that's helpful.
We're far too invested to change the condiments every year.
At least you don't need to go and buy other condiment costumes every year.
No, it's yellow. We have a flag in the back that says mustard. It's a lifestyle at this point.
Just break it out throughout the year, even.
Yeah. So that's sort of a funny thing about what I didn't expect. This was a new industry for both of us. I sort of immersed myself in it. I went to the University of Vermont Business of Craft Beer program. I did a mentorship program with people in the brewing industry. So we're constantly learning. And I think the thing that Jason and I share in common is he's constantly reading and researching and trying to better his craft. Mm-hmm. And so am I on the business side of things. Mm-hmm. Always improving. Yeah.
Well, it seems like you guys are a really good pair from a business standpoint, because you have to have somebody who is, really focused on the product and really just obsessed with making that as good as it can possibly be, and then there also has to be a business element to it.
Yep.
And it seems like you guys are the perfect yin and yang there.
Yeah, it works out very well.
Yeah. How do you feel about the future of the beer industry? Obviously, we're in kind of a tumultuous time right now where, there's things with the economy happening, and there's alcohol consumption declining, or, maybe just kind of going back to regular levels. And it feels like the craft brewery industry boomed in the 2010s, and all these craft breweries opened up, and, in recent years, it's been more competitive and less people drinking. So where do you feel like this will level out at?
I don't know where it will level out at. Taproom wise, you have to provide multiple options. We always have NA beers here for folks that don't drink. We have seltzer for people who are gluten free. The younger generations are not drinking as much for multiple reasons, and people are watching their dollars. So part of what I think is important, a part of what I think is important is educating consumers, and this is not specific to Pickett, but the craft alcohol industry statewide is going to be working and really having a push for educating consumers on the importance of drinking local. Mm-hmm. So when you do drink, pick local products that invest in businesses who support the state, support the workforce, provide jobs, put money back into the local economy. And I think you'll see going forward that the craft brewers, distilleries, and wineries will all have a push for that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do. Craft beer drinkers obviously are invested in that anyway. They like to drink local wherever they go. But even when they go to the packaged goods stores, it's important for them to look for things that are brewed in Maryland.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is just a lack of education around, like, if you're not a hardcore craft beer drinker and you haven't gone to a lot of breweries, I think that there's this misconception a lot around craft beer in general that it's all like, high alcohol content IPAs, mm-hmm. and or these really like crazy experimental beers that are like are really like out there, kind of sour or something like that.
Right.
And people don't realize that you can just get like a good lager, and you can get just like a nice tasty beer that doesn't have to be Bud Light or Coors Light or
Right, and it might be a little bit more expensive, but we're hoping that people realize that it's a little more expensive, but the money stays in the community.
Yeah, well, and it's a better product.
Yes.
For most craft breweries.
Yeah.
I'll include you guys in that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, closing question here. If you had to give one piece of advice to other brewery owners out there, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the right person to give advice. I would say ask for help. Like you said, the craft brewing industry is very supportive of each other. We've been lucky to have other breweries help us along the way. So look for the help and always be researching, always learning what you can do better, always sort of reaching for what's next.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. It's such a friendly, welcoming industry, and people are here to help. And I mean, other breweries want to see other breweries succeed.
They do.
So that's something that's really cool and unique about this industry, and couldn't agree more. Yeah. So, thanks so much for coming on to the podcast. This was awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you could come.
Yeah, and how can people find out about Pickett?
Pickett's at 1130 South Packard Street in the Pigtown neighborhood, right by the stadiums. It's PickettBrewingCo.com is our website, and Pickett Brewing on Instagram.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks again. This was a great interview.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, of course.